Hi, everybody. This is going to be part 4 of my beginning Simutrans extended tutorial. As I said in the last video, I wanted to talk about goods industries and how to use them because they are a little bit tricky. I didn't learn how to use them for a long time. I wasn't really interested in them until later when I realized, that they're actually pretty fun and interesting once you kind of get to know them, but they are tricky. And so I still highly recommend that when you begin the game that you just start off with passengers and mail. So I have added some industries to the city. When my city was first generated, it did not come with any industries, and I had to add them using not manually, but automatically generated by the not the main player, but the master player, which is, I'll show you what that is. So right now I'm playing as default player, and what you can do, this is, a way to cheat kind of, is you go to change options, you go to players, and you change the person you're playing as to public service, which is like the government basically, or kind of like the god of the world. And what you can do is you can go to map editing tools, you can go to build industries. What it shows you is a list of all these different industries like blacksmith, bookbinder, bookshop. There's a ton of industries. It's very interesting, and the developers put a lot of effort into making this very thorough industry chain. There's all these different industries, and they're all time appropriate. So there's like a brewery, which is this old brick building. It's really cool because as the game progresses, like when it gets into like the 1970s, then this brewery is torn down and it's replaced by a shiny metal one, and all of these things change. There's even new industries like cars and cement, and then old industries disappear. I'm trying to think of which ones disappear. Maybe none of them disappear, but they definitely change a bit. And then there's like oil, which will appear later. In like the 1920s or something, there'll be oil wells and oil offshore rigs, and you'll have to connect all those. But for now, what I'm going to be doing is talking about I'm going to be talking about what industries you should start with when you want to start building an industry chain. So I totally did not mean to do that. Build industries. You want to pick an industry. This is if your game is generated without any industries. So what I did was I added markets. Markets are the one industry you want to focus on in the beginning. So there's market. You click build a city chain of industries, and you just click anywhere in your city, and a market will be built, and a chain of suppliers will be built with it. And I'll show you what those are in a second. So I already did that, and so we'll escape, click on players, go back to default player. Okay, so now we want to find what industries we have in our city, and it's kind of tricky because a lot of the buildings look the same as normal buildings, the industry buildings. So, like, see, this one is a butcher, and that's what a butcher looks like, and that's a furniture shop. They look the same, and then it also looks the same as just regular buildings that are not industries that regular just people live in. So to see what industries we have in our city, we go to options. Display, map view, tooltip. There's a map view. Oh yeah, and then click this checkbox. Hidden items appear transparent, and then you click shift parentheses. Do it twice, and then the red buildings are industries. So we do it once, and the industries are not hidden. But you do it again, and the industries are red. So that way you can easily see what industries you have in your city. This is a blacksmith, furniture shop, butcher, fishmonger. None of these are very good to start out with because they do not have a lot of demand for goods. Because the way you make lots of money in the goods industry, is by shipping large amounts of goods. And these places, like the blacksmith, you can see it says 0 out of 4. It means that, I think that what that means is that people only buy, or they only sell 4 tons of wrought iron a month. I think that's what it means. Don't quote me on that, but that is not a lot. And this one is 0 out of 16. That's a little better, but that's still not a lot. But you click on the market. Okay, maybe this is where I'm wrong, because this says 0 out of 9. but it says 96 crates a month. So I think that's what the number you want to go off is this number right here, 96 crates a month. Now markets, they sell a lot of goods. They're very popular, so there's a high demand for the goods that are shipped there from the suppliers. So that's what we want to focus on. And markets are also, you can see that visitor demand is 1,600. That's the highest visitor demand, I think, in the game. So markets are very good. You want to serve them with trains so people can visit them, and you want to supply them with as many goods as possible. And the good that we want to focus on is orchards, because orchards produce lots of fruit, and they are in high demand at the market. So that is what I always want to focus on with goods, is I want to start with orchards and fruit. We also have fishing port, and fishing ports are also a very high demand good fish. They sell very fast, and that is also something you want to focus on. But the problem is with this game is my fishing port. It shows you the suppliers right here. The only fishing port, or sorry, the one of two fishing ports is right there. And the problem is it is not connected to a river of any kind. And this is a bug that, obviously I'm not going to complain about bugs too much, but this is a bug that happens sometimes when fishing ports are not built directly next to the water. Because to get the fish, what there is fishing ports, fishing ports themselves are supplied by a fishery. So this fishery is out here out in the ocean. You build fishing boats. They come to the fishery, they collect the fish, they bring them to the fishing port. In the fishing port, they are, butchered, and then they are taken to the market where they are sold. But the problem is that the fish that are caught at the fishery, they have to be connected directly to the fishing port in one trip. They cannot be taken by a team of horses. While butchered fish, after they are butchered, they can be taken by horses to the market or any other transportation method. But to get the fish from the fishery to the fishing port, it has to be one trip in a fishing boat. And since this is not connected to any water whatsoever, it's not possible. Well, what we would have to do is we would have to build a ship canal that connects to this, which would be very expensive at this time and not really worth it. But the orchards are something that we can definitely use. So let's start over. Let's click on our market, and we're going to see where the orchards are. So we click on market, then we leave this window up, then we click on the map, make sure networks are turned off, and it shows us on the map where the suppliers are. So it looks like all the orchards are way out here. And it has an interesting function, is that the map is divided into regions, and orchards can only exist in certain climates, regional climates. So all these orchards are only on this side of the map, which is good because they're going to have to be transported a long way, which will make us lots of money. So let's look over here, because it looks like there's an orchard right here next to the water. Yeah, there it is right there. So let's start by building a goods dock right next to it. And for a goods dock is just like a station, and the industry building that is in red has to be within the yellow catchment area. And then, so that's good. And you click on this and it says connected stops, Skelepool in the Marsh Orchard Dock. So it's connected. So when this is finally connected by a line to the market, then it will start producing fruit, and those will start piling up here, waiting to be collected by the boat. Good. So we have that. Let's look at what other orchards we have, because it looks like there's another one way over here. And there is, and it's on a large river, which I know that our ship can sail on. We'll have to delete this bridge right here for it to get under it, but yeah, it connects right to the ocean, which is perfect. So now we have two orchards that we can connect to. So let's build a goods canal quay. Yes. Let's build that right there. And let's build a loading bay because we're going to have to build a little horse team. We'll have to build a stable, buy a couple horses for them to transport from here to here. So let's do that right now. coaching stable is fairly cheap. It's only 2,000. I think we can get that paid off fairly quickly, so we'll need to build a little stub right here for the coaching stable. I think right now, here's the types of horses, and they're called trucks for some reason, but these are the horses that you can buy. And these horses all, at the top, they all are connected to trailers that you buy. But we can just, all we need to do is just buy this pack horses team. So we get a pair of horses, I think, and then they carry 2 pieces of goods. So they carry them back and forth, and they're kind of slow. So I think that we'll just need to do 3. Add stop there. Add stop there. Flying start. Good. And it's not going to start, see how it changes to the goods loading thing. Now, it's not going to be producing anything because there is no service yet. There's no boat service connecting. So, but we do have 2 ports in operation right now. So let's delete this. Sorry, I should have saved before I deleted it. Okay, it looks like we have no further obstructions along there. Okay, let's go back to our city. And now we want to figure out how where we want the port to be in our city. So to save money, we want to look for just a basic, slope tile that's along the river. Or actually, no, we do not have to do that because it's in a river, so it can use the goods canal quay. So let's just connect them all together. Let's put the quay with the passenger quay, the goods quay with the passenger quay, so they're all kind of together. And then we turn that into a loading dock. Then we'll put another loading dock over here and see how it changes to market stop. Then it says connected stop, market stop. That's this one. And then we need to build a team of horses. We'll do 2 horses for 4 pieces of good per trip, and we'll connect them together. Proto line. The horses are very cheap to build, and they are, they're the best option for transporting on roads. Maybe, I guess, the only option, but you don't really need to worry about the cost of the horses that much. They're very cheap, and they're very cheap to operate. Okay, so now these are connected, so then the only thing that's left is to build a ship. And we want to build a ship that we want to also use one of the big sailing ships because these 2 destinations are very far apart. So we don't want to have to build a bunch of intermediate ports along the way. So we'll do the schooner again. The schooner is also better because it has a high max speed of 18 kilometers an hour. The smaller boat is only 12, I believe. Okay, so barges. And what's interesting, or what's good, is that we can kind of mix and match. So just for the heck of it, let's just put a mail hold on the boat, just in case that we want to connect some little cities to that port. And then we'll go to barges, and we will put in the goods hold. So each goods hold holds 75 crates, and we probably won't need all of this, but let's just fill it up for the heck of it. Okay, so now our ship can hold 250 pieces of mail and 450 crates of goods. Okay, have it start right there. Let's go to our... Oh, and in the market screen, it shows the suppliers, and it shows that which suppliers are connected with a stop, or which suppliers have a stop. So all of these are gray, they have no stop. But these ones at the bottom, this orchard and that orchard, they both have docks, so they're green. So we can just click on them. There's our first one. That's the first one we want to go to. And the second one is not there, but the dock right here. So there. So now, and we do not want to do mirror... Wait, actually, what we want to start off with is we want it to go to the furthest one first, and then work backwards. So it goes to the farthest one away first, and then it goes to this one. And what we don't want to do is do mirror schedule, because we don't want them stopping each time along the way, which it would be a waste of time because they would have already visited it on the first trip. Okay, so promote to line. Let's see if this works. Okay, and it turns green, and it's already produced 2 crates of fruit because it knows that service has begun and the ship will be by in probably a long time. So we're just going to speed it up. Remember, I'm holding the equal or greater than or greater or less than sign. I'm holding that button, that key, to speed up time. And that's why I don't really focus on this in the beginning, because see, we're not really getting a lot of goods. But this is kind of just to show you like what you can do. So let's look at our boat. There she is. You can click follow me and it just follows the boat. It's probably going to take a long time. Yeah, so I'm not sure if they modified the output of the orchards, but when I usually play this, the orchards output a lot of fruit, and you can make a lot of money by shipping them. That's okay that it's not really going along right now. This is just a tutorial, just to show you how it's done. Okay, see, so right here, there's already 13. Okay, looks like we're doing all right over in this area. Okay, and this has 20. Okay, so yeah. Another thing that we can look at is there's also, oh wait. Okay, so it says the pack horses cannot find a route. And you know what that means is that's because the station that I put is on a bridge, and I guess the pack horses, sorry. Sorry, what we want to look at is this bridge is a typical wooden bridge, and the load of the horses is too heavy for the bridge. So it cannot park on this bridge because I guess it has a full load, so it cannot go onto this bridge. But what we can do is just build a little stub right here and then connect it right there. And then we can go into special construction tools, replace a stop, click on the stop you want to change, and then click on the destination you want it to change to. And there, now the horses are on their way. Just like that. And service is not affected. All right, so this is actually very popular. 20 crates. Yeah, it's getting filled up fast, and this is on the line 8, so maybe we want to build another team of horses. So let's go into trucks. Let's do 3, or let's just even do 4 for that time. And that was line 8, I believe. We can click on schedule, and it shows, and it highlights the stops in red just to make sure. Okay, good. Yeah, so I think that was a good decision to create another horse line. Okay, so this should be filling up very fast with goods. Excellent. And when I was, going through here, I saw that there was another orchard right here. And this orchard does not supply the market that we are serving right now, the marketplace that we are serving, but it might be serving another marketplace in our town, because I noticed that there were 2. So let's, bring it up, have that window open, then open map, and it shows the destinations that it serves, or it shows the businesses that it serves. And look, it serves another market in our city. Well, that's cool. Where is that market? Oh, it's this one right here. See? It got built right next to our rail station, which is convenient. So what we can do is we can add a loading bay, and then we can add a team of horses that will connect the port with the market. So let's build another 2 horses. Click there, click there. Promote to line, start. Now what we can do, network's on so I can see where we're at. Let's go back. Here's our original port. Let's add a team of horses that will connect the orchard with a new port right here. Okay. Let's put the loading dock right there, and then we can put a goods quay right there. And let's go back to our Uh, sorry. Let's go back to our stables and let us build another team. And we can use the same stable because, see, this road connects to all these places already, so the horses will be able to just find their way easily. So let's do 6 crates of goods per month or per trip. That should be good. Because there's a maximum for the road as well. So, like, if you have a team of horses that's hauling like bulk goods, like coal, that's very heavy, and so it actually cannot use these some of these dirt roads. They can use the stone roads, but those are only usually in the cities and do not extend into the countryside very often. But that's not something we can really worry about right now because these roads are good enough for the crates of goods. The types of goods are divided up into a couple different categories. Like there's liquids, which is like milk. Later on, it's oil. Then there is crates of goods, which are like hardware, tools, fruit, like so, and various other things, flour and bricks. Those are all considered piece goods. And then there's bulk goods, which is grain, coal, sand, and clay, and a couple other ones, I think. And then there's foods, which are a couple other things that I actually cannot think of right now, like milk. Milk's a food, and they all have like different special rules. So, click there, and then let's build a new one right there. And what we can do is to make it so, in case this is not very productive, this orchard right here, we don't want the horses to be making like pointless trips that are empty or halfway empty. This is not really necessary for horses, but so we'll put the minimum, we'll have orchard stop highlighted, and then minimum load, we'll press the back key, press this back button, and it changes it to 100, which means that the horse has to be 100% full with the goods before it will leave the station. Promote to line, let's build 4 of them. And then it's not producing anything, and that's because the ship is not stopping there yet. So let's go into line manager. We have a bunch of lines now. It's kind of getting hard to keep track of, so let's click on the ship category. Last one is line 10. That was the ship we just built. And let's add this quay to our schedule. So it starts in the big city, our capital. It goes to this one second, and then we want it to go to our new dock third. So we'll click insert. We'll click on the last one, which means it will put it before the last one. Click there. There. Now it's added, and this turns green, and it has started producing fruit because the whole supply chain has been created. All the transportation has been created. Okay. And what I was talking about earlier with, where was that? When you have this minimum load, this is important later in the game. It's important for trains and ships. Later on ships, the ones that actually use fuel, because they have a running cost. And the running cost for trains and later ships is based on how far they travel in a month. So you can think of it like when the train is traveling, it's using fuel, so it costs money. When the boats, these sailing ships, when they're traveling, the game doesn't think of them as using fuel. So there's not a cost per distance. And that's kind of the same with the horses. There's not really a cost per distance. So it doesn't really matter if they're loading or not, or it doesn't matter if they're carrying empty loads or not. But when you have like ships later on in the game that use fuel, like diesel, then it is important that they only leave their ports when they have a load that is going to be profitable upon arrival. Because you don't want them sailing empty, pretty much. All right, so we are getting lots of goods right here. Wow, look at that! Look at all that. So let's build a goods warehouse. Now, I don't really understand this part, like why there is no incentive to create a goods warehouse, because you can see it'll say it's overcrowded, but these crates of goods are still being delivered. What the mechanic should be is that once it's overcrowded, they no longer will accept more goods because there's nowhere to put them. So, but just for the heck of it, we'll build a warehouse, and then the warehouse, it can hold 250 goods, 250 piece goods. And there it is. And so now if we click on this, it shows that our maximum is 354 pieces of goods. So let's see what the status of our ship is. Looks like it is still quite far away, or not that far. It should be catching up soon. You can speed it up a little. You'll notice that there's these little ghost symbols on the ship, and that just is showing if it's full or not, how much of it is full. Okay, so it's getting close. And the ship is, only going 18 miles an hour, so it's not really going to be that fast. Our cities are quite a distance away. So we might even have to build another ship, which would be nice. All right. And the big ships, another thing is that they take a long time to load. They take, I think it's an hour to load, while the smaller ships, the ones that I was using earlier for the mail and such, they can load a little bit faster. But it's got its load. Now it's going to go back down the river. It's going to hit the next port. It's going to take on its goods there. Now what we could do is we could build a post office right here in this town, and then it would collect mail from here. So the next time it stops by, it'll pick up the mail from there. And then we could even build a couple different lines of the post boys that will connect to here. So then the mail can be picked up. All right, now it's going to hit the last dock, pick up the load there. Looks like it's got a nice amount right there. Okay, good. 327 out of 450. So we'll definitely make quite a bit of money when we arrive back home. So let's wait to do that. It's going to take a while, so I'll just talk about some other things while we wait for that. What else is there to look at? And yeah, so basically those are the only, orchards are kind of the only industry you start out with that is very profitable for such a short network, because right now we're only connecting two marketplaces with just 2 orchards, and they're producing quite a bit. And if we wanted, I've tried to do the other industries, like the blacksmith and the seamstress, and they don't really sell that much, so you're not really hauling a lot of goods, not really making a lot of money. And it's only when you make a really big network that connects all of the blacksmiths, all of the blacksmiths are connected on the map, then that's when it gets really profitable. Another thing you can do is if you start later in the game, if you start in the 1950s, or even late 1800s, 1890, then that is when electricity is invented, and that is when there are power stations that are built around the map, and you can supply the power stations with coal. And of course, power stations need a lot of coal to run, so there's a big market for transporting coal, and so that's another good way to make money. We're in 1854, so there's not going to be any electric plants just yet. And another cool thing is when these power plants are built, then you can connect them to the cities to provide them with power, and power helps the cities grow faster. The way that the game simulates the city's growth is it takes the factor of how many passengers are transported, how many goods are transported to the city, how much power is supplied to the city. And if all of those demands are met, then the city grows at a higher rate than normal. Okay, so let's check on our boat. I just want to show you guys. Okay, it's getting really close. It's coming into the port. All right. And it made $12,000 in that trip, so that's really great. And it's going to pick up some mail for the return trip. That way, we're utilizing both ends of the trip. Okay, and now you can see at our port area that we have 354 crates of fruit for line 9, and we have 64 crates of fruit for line 11. And I believe line 11 goes to this market, line 9 goes to this one. And so now our horses are going to slowly pick up the goods like this. See, they picked up 4 pieces of goods. Going to transport them to the market, drop them off. And it's just going to keep doing that back and forth until all of the fruits are gone. And hopefully, by the time the ship arrives again with the next load of fruit, all of this fruit will already have been distributed. So there's not like a backlog of fruit that needs to be sent out. Okay, so I guess I will end my video right here. Thanks for watching.